Welcome everybody to a special Christmas bonus episode of Crusader Kings 2, and as I'm sure you can already ascertain from the title or the description or wherever I've thrown this, this isn't going to be a regular episode of Crusader Kings 2. This is going to be exploring a mod I was working on many long times ago. I wonder if I could try and work it out from some of the files in the folder that I have open in another window here. The latest Github license change was on the 21st of March 2020, so it's at least, you know, coming up for 2 years old at this point. But it is the fantasy mod that I have showed briefly off in the past. I think I did it as a Patreon exclusive. Really, I wanna explore all of it. You know, go into every file, go into every event, every culture, every area of the mod, see what is here, see what is redeemable, and more importantly, see if it's worth it in your guys' opinions, and maybe float another idea out here in a second. See if you're interested in it, because if you are, I don't mind going back to it and finishing it off, because it has always bugged me. It's always been in the back of my mind that this thing I put a lot of hours into is just sitting on a GitHub. And honestly, I think I put the polish in the right places. You know, I started with vampires, and I said, I'm going to polish these up, make sure they work, and then see how I get on with the rest of it. Because at least that way, if I don't want to do the rest of it, we've got vampires done, they're polished up, they can be put into Dungeon Master, they could have anything done with them. Now, I believe this also predates Dungeon Master, but what I did is I combined all of my GitHub files, which is just an online kind of programming hosting website, for those of you unfamiliar with that, where you can kind of keep track of your projects. I put all of my projects in this one thing. I threw it all together, all of the meme mods. Some of you from really back in the day might remember the Beta Avengers mod, where I was doing an Avengers parody when that was all a big thing and Thanos was about and that shit. Started working on that, did a whole Thanos culture group, all the artifacts, etc, etc. Threw it all together into this mod. So we're going to explore the whole thing. We're going to see what's in there in-game. If there's any necessary stuff I can show off, kind of maybe stuff that I drew, stuff that I designed that wasn't in this, I'll pop that up in Photoshop or whatever, and we'll take a poke around. But the important thing is we're just going to dive in here, and I want to see if you guys are actually interested in this. And I spoke with CK2 before about this a while ago, back when Dungeon Master was pretty much done. We kind of discussed the idea of a Dungeon Mistress, which would act as like an additional expansion, like a fantasy expansion ideally. Given that I've already got vampires and some other things thrown together, I thought it'd be kind of nice to throw it into that, in a sense that it would be a standalone mod, but with kind of unique interactions between that and Dungeon Master, but without forcing it into Dungeon Master and adding lots of extra complexity for people who might not want it. So let's dive in first and foremost and see exactly what we've got. Well, when I shut off the vampires, I was very careful not to show anything else, but this time, fuck it, balls to the wall, let's just go right in here. So I made two bookmarks. I do vaguely remember this. Supernatural Happenings, with some characters here that are basically just test characters that have various afflictions, vampires, werewolves, skin changers, blah, blah, blah. And then we have Gods on Earth, which my idea for that was to take the Gods on Earth series that I did a long time ago and basically push it into a whole bookmark, but with hindsight and with compatibility for total conversion mods, that type of thing. I won't get too inside baseball for the most part, not until maybe later on in the video. It would be better to do it all dynamically. So have a button that spawns in Odin and gives him a random empire and, you know, change the culture or whatever to Aesir, and same with all the other pantheons. That way, if you did decide for whatever reason to load it into a Game of Thrones map, Odin could, in theory, appear, you know, take the Westeros title, take the Iron Throne, take a Shire, whatever it happens to be. You could make it more dynamic. So we'll stick with this because that other bookmark doesn't do anything as far as I recall. So we have vampires. A fledgling vampire lord maintaining a low profile in southwest England. Uncovered, undiscovered, unexposed, and extremely ambitious. Those, the Curse of the Blood Mage will take its toll eventually. Obviously, didn't quite finish that one. I think vampires, we started writing a little bit of lore about this. This was myself and another person working on it a while back, but I think they did some changes to the map. Everything else was mine. Like, everything. The vampires, the werewolves, you name it. Everything else was mine. So it was like 99% my project by the end of it. I did the most commits and that type of thing. So I'm happy kind of continuing on this by my own. I'm like co-opted a project or anything. Anyway, we've got the vampires, we've got the werewolves, we've got a skin change. The idea for this was the vampires were going to be the filthy little kind of sewer-dwelling goblins. They were going to be the kind of dirty disease-spreading creatures. The werewolves were going to be the sophisticated ones, because just as a nice change on things, it sets it apart from all the other mods, gives it something unique. Skin changes were really cool, because I uncovered something weird about the CK2 engine with those that I'll show off when we get in there. We'll start with vampires, and then we'll load into the other two characters later on. Now, according to the files, I have set up game rules. So I'm kind of curious what I did for that one. There you go. So I did. Okay, good. So I did actually start work on that thing I was talking about, the Fantasy Gods on Earth scenario, Landed Pantheons. I wonder if I actually got any progress to that at all. We won't worry with it now. We'll do it later, but we'll actually test that out. Then we've got the silly Easter eggs. For the time being, we'll just say disabled. And then we'll dive into that later on. I'm not sure if there are any events actually starting those off or anything like that. Now, I remember making quite a few societies, some of which were fairly unique, which we should be able to explore with the vampire. But I did... There you go. I did have some off-map powers that I broke in an update and couldn't fix. I don't know what I broke about it in particular. I'm going to leave that in Kekvit's hand if we do decide to pursue this, because that's pretty much Kekvit's specialty, right? With the off-map powers and House Array and that type of thing. The new fledgling. The curse of Justinian now flows through my veins. I remember. Right, so there was the Justinian's plague in the Byzantine Empire. That's historically true. And we thought it'd be kind of fun. Me and this other person came up with a little bit of lore for the vampires, but again, that was pretty much all we did together on the project. Well, we said the curse of Justinian would make a little bit of sense for the kind of vampire backstory to tie it into reality a little bit there. The off-map power was going to be the original vampire for these guys, and that's still all in there, just not actually in game right now because I broke something. So, the biggest problem I had with vampires, from what I remember, was the balancing, because I wanted them to have that mechanic where they were forced to hunt people and take blood, but the problem is if you play Crusader Kings on speed 1, it's a very different experience to if you play it on speed 5. And having a constant pop-up, sure, you could blitz through on speed 5 months in 2 seconds flat if you've got, obviously, fast enough PC, not many mods, that type of thing. At which point you might get like 10 pop-ups saying you need to hunt, you need to get some blood. But if you play it on speed 1, that could be a good 3 hours of gameplay before you have to worry about that blood side of things. So it's really, really hard to balance. I kind of decided this when I was thinking about coming back to it, that it would be better just to remove the ticking need for blood and only use it when you use your vampiric powers. Or maybe like once a year thing, just as kind of an enforced thing. Anyway, the only way I can survive is mana directly taken from another's blood, though the priests and holy men guard the secret of our existence closely from the peasantry and nobility alike. The patience will not extend far before they find a reason in their holy scriptures to destroy me. What have I become? Earl Vampire. You must actively feed to use your vampiric powers and avoid withering. So that's when you don't feed for long enough, you'll wither away. The more times you feed throughout your life, the stronger your own blood will become. So that's a kind of... Over time, you'll accumulate more power regardless of whether or not you spend the blood immediately on... It basically tallies up your total feeds and gives you a power based on that. And you're now to actively avoid suspicion or face the wrath of fearful lords and peasants alike, similar to the system from Monks and Mystics when you're a devil worshipper, except I made this system entirely separate from that. So, let's take a look then. Have I broken anything? That's the real question. So here we are. Vampire of Cornwall, the progenitor. Zeus progenitor, he's the Greek guy from the Plague of Justinian. This is the guy that's in the off-map power, as far as I recall. So Greek, Byzantine, Hellenic, and he was the guy that had the off-map power before I disabled it. He's the first guy. Name is random. The fact that he's called Zeus has no bearing on anything. So let's go through the traits then. We've got Supplicant, a 4th generation vampire, which, as I recall, levels up as you get kills or something like that. No. That is your generation of vampirism. Again, kind of similar to the World of Darkness mod a little bit, but a lot more streamlined compared to that, and, you know, very different in the fact that they're all filthy little bloody vampires. So we've got that Supplicant there. 4th generation vampire really should be 2nd, because Zeus is supposed to have the correct vampire trait. Again, that's all disabled, so not to worry there. Attractive, that's quite nice. Immortal for testing purposes. Vampire. This character is a vampire, blur. That's hidden from the world at large, so you can't just go into the character finder and type in vampire. We have blood power 0, and the blood power is the thing that levels up as you kill and feed. It's almost like the blood kind of, what's the best word, coagulates in your veins or something like that. I haven't got the best way to describe it, really. Mana is 5, so mana is just your basic mana system. I know it says 0 there. I might have broken something, it doesn't really matter. And I made sure that the vampire started with recently fed. I remember in testing, the guy kept dying before I could go out and feed on people and kind of arrange that. So let's take a look then. As far as I recall, I started a society. The Mage's Guild is broken. Oh, what happened to the... Man, I made a full society of hemomancers. Like blood mages. Mage Society. Oh, what happened to that? Did I lose it? That would suck, because that one I put a lot of effort into. Like a lot of custom artwork, that type of thing. That's a shame that that one's gone. I can actually describe that one a little bit, though. Maybe it's on a different branch of the Github, because if it is, I'll pause quickly and pull that up, because it's definitely worth taking a look at. Let me just have a peek here. my branch specifically. Master, I merged it in. Yeah, that's a shame. So that must be lost to time, unfortunately. Maybe I can find an older version of it in the GitHub history or something like that. Either way, the Hemoman Society was this really cool thing I came up with and worked pretty damn well, unfortunately, before it was lost here, where it was a combination of vampires and mages working side by side, and it was kind of a dual society whereby the mages and vampires work together but have access to different powers, different events, that type of thing, but they both be in a society together, and you do quests. You know, like saying the dueling society, what they called? Wolves? Whatever, the Viking dueling society. You're set to duel people and train people. You have that, but it's mages and vampires, you know, being one side of the quest and experiencing different things depending on which side of it you're from. I thought that was quite a fun idea. Unfortunately, apparently it's lost, but I'll see if I can dig it out here. And then got different kind of mage stuff I started to work on here again. This is a little bit broken, which is a shame because that was the thing I remember spending a lot of time on, but never mind too much. Right. Let's take a look around, shall we? So we've got, I remember this being kind of a tutorial system here. The little blood red book. Mysterious blood red book with hand-scored notes on vampirism from one of the blood mage schools. Let's have a quick peek. Man, I miss that noise. That's nostalgic, huh? You've been transformed into an ungodly creature of the night. I've written down all my observations, tapped with the curse, and maybe sacrifice will help you. So we've got Hema Mana, magical energy exclusive to vampires, produced when they feel another being, and expended when they use their supernatural abilities. They can only retain a certain amount of mana before it's wasted. Should a vampire expend all of their mana, they will wither, resulting in death. Far Eastern scholars have written of the curse lifting during withering, though only death has been officially observed. So kind of a hint there for you can cure yourself if you want to. So let's go back here a second. Blood efficacy describes how powerful a vampire's blood has become since the first time they become a vampire. Unlike human mana, which comes and goes, blood efficacy can only increase. Where you believe when a vampire feeds, part of the vampire's prey lives on the strength of his blood. I believe that's similar to Ward of Darkness. I don't know enough about Ward of Darkness to say for sure, though. More options. Children. One of the many costs of vampires are the reduced abilities to create life. But, I mean, this was kind of a contentious thing. Like, how do you have it so that you can still play CK2 and not, you know, not have a game over without children? Well, the World of Darkness mod does it by having you sire children that become part of your dynasty. I did it in a way that you could still have children. Every child you have reduces your fertility down by a certain amount per child, as long as you have living children, that is. And if you have like 5 children, you can then not have any more children as long as they're alive. When one dies, you get a bit of that vitality back. Should a vampire's progeny die, then the curse lessens somewhat. Rumors also speak of a vampire's child inheriting some of the vampire's powers. No crossbreeds has been officially documented. There's kind of a hint there that there is, I forget what we called them, Damphirs or something like that? Half-breeds? I don't know. Some weird vampire crossbreed is kind of an occasional thing that might happen, which I thought was kind of fun. Suspicion. Again, an entirely separate suspicion system here. Vampiric activities will draw additional suspicion. Won't take long before a callous vampire will be branded as an apostate and left to the mercy of the church. Great. And then you've got... We were eventually going to make a vampire hunter society or just a monster hunter society. Never ended up coming to pass, unfortunately. Passing the curse... The notes are heavily damaged and bloodstained to the point of illegibility. That's what that word says. And that's it. That's kind of your vampire tutorial that you've always got access to. I thought that was kind of nice. You'll notice a few things with the UI are different. I did a full fort change mod. Where are we based again? Oh, we're down in Cornwall. I changed the fort entirely to Lodge. We'll talk more about that with a different character because that's quite complicated. And again, some of the UI screens you'll see are different as well. This was beginning to roll into a total conversion. So let's do some vampire stuff. See if I can remember how it works. Let's take, got like someone in our court. Maybe like a bishop. Bishop Reginald. We can hypnotize. Hypnotize target, bend them to your will. This is not without risk. And we can feed on them. Because we got the Fed recently modified, we can't do that. So, oh, I also added... Oh, there you go. I did add some additional educations and shit. I remember now. It's got my traits mod, I believe, rolled in by default. Because, again, I just combined all of my projects there. So that will be something that we have to be careful of should we merge it. Yeah, so it's got all of my additional traits and shit like that. Tactician, Aberrant, I've seen there too. So I added a whole new education in the form of mages. It's got like experienced mage, mage scholar. I don't remember what the highest level was. Journeyman Hunter. Oh, I started to add the Hunter system too there as well. Oh, there you go. Expert Sorcerer. Cool. Very nice. I started to add the Hunters too, but obviously didn't get around to... finishing that one. But even a whole education system, I mean, that's kind of a fun little addition there. Okay, fair enough. All right, that's good. More than I remember doing, but that's okay. Let's blitz ahead then. Let some time tick. I wonder if it'll recalculate and sort that out. It says mana 5. That modifier is supposed to say 5 when it's done, but I wonder if I stopped doing that because it was like too much to keep updating all the time. Not sure. Right, how long does recently fed last? 2nd of March. Yeah, I think I was quite generous with it in the end because especially for someone like me, like look at how fast the speed is going. And this is what I mean when I say you can... Hey! Get out of here. This is what I mean when I say if you play on speed 5, you can blitz through months like they're nothing at all. Before you know it, you're withering away. Your vampiric hunter begins to grow. Hunger begins to grow. If you don't feed frequently and maintain your human mana, you eventually wither away and risk death. So, this vampire has begun feeding for some time. Minus stat bonuses there. If we keep that going, I'll become a tributary. Your offer is the one of a coward. Fuck. Well, I'm trying to tutorialize here. Charles, piss off. There you go. So I think I must have balanced it to like every few months there. This vampire will soon begin to wither from a lack of feeding, given the following effects. Minus to some more stuff. There you go. So those stack up together, which I thought was kind of interesting. The vampiric hunger begins to grow. Or maybe I added an element of randomness to it. That would make a lot of sense. That way you can't just do it like clockwork. Okay, got it. Of course, keeping people in your prison and shit like that would help quite a lot. You could use societies to your advantage. So we are going to die soon if we don't get some food in us. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. Saints Germans, Reginald. I'm feeling snackish. So I did a little custom icon there too, which I thought was nice. That way you can tell your powers apart from everything else. Stalk and prey. Stalk your prey and attempt to feed on them. This is not without risk. You stalk your prey for some time until finally an opportunity presents itself. I will feed. So this is based on their stats, their personal combat, their intrigue, their, you know, kind of bravery, that type of thing, versus your intrigue, your, again, various traits and stats will play into that too. Being a master schemer is obviously quite big, genius, that type of thing. So we can say the risk is too great, or I will feed. 23% chance for your target being ferocious and putting up on a fight, but that doesn't mean failure. You can still overpower them, it just might raise suspicion anyway. So I'll say, I will feed. 77% chance of sneaking up on your target, render them unconscious. He has actually gone straight for a duel, and I use the base game duel system for this, but I threw in a little hook so that if we beat him in a duel, feed on your target. Now, only obviously vampires get that option, otherwise it'll be a bit weird. So he's tried to fight us as a vampire of the night, but we defeated him, and now we fed on him. Is it that simple? Did I even finish the event? I guess I didn't finish it, huh? Yeah, it didn't work. Okay, let's feed on him again then. That's something that needs fixing. You're prepared to drain your foe, and now you must decide on the method of feeding. Lethally draining a fallen foe will yield greater rewards, but could lead to many more questions and increase suspicion. You got your sacrifices necessary. Vampire experience increases significantly. He dies, and then one or two options will happen. 75% chance of people asking questions, or 25% chance of succeeding unnoticed, or I will take what I need. Lower chance of arousing suspicion. He gains blood loss, but our vampiric experience only increases a little bit. Now again, I thought that made a lot of sense. It's one thing to stalk your target, but if a vampire attacks and drains the blood fully of a king, it's going to arouse a lot of suspicion, right? So we've got two systems going on here. The actual hunt and then the actual consequence of the hunt. So we're going to say your sacrifice is necessary. See if we can trigger it. Because this guy is a bishop in our domain, the only one of that, it's going to be suspicious if the dude goes missing and he's found dead on the floor, drained with his blood. So there you go. We've been caught straight away. Your actions have been less than subtle of late, and the last demonstration of powers caused quite a stir. Depending on your target's connections and status, you may find things going somewhat awry. Perhaps I should be more discreet. So we were caught. Now we're going to see if we are suspicious. We were. Your target had some connections in higher places. Now full investigation has been funded. I might streamline this system a little bit, not sure. Either through torture or paranoia, some have pointed fingers in your direction. Well, there is no absolute evidence to lead back to you. Many grow more suspicious of you. And then that works as kind of a system whereby we gain a little bit of blood power, which is quite nice. That works on a system that I've hidden specifically so that you can't metagame it, to be honest. So the way that works is, from what I remember, if you attack, say, landowners, people who hold temples, religious figures, the Pope on my list of people is the highest one possible. If the Pope is found dead, drained of all his blood, it raises you. It's pretty much like a 99% chance that you will get caught for that. Not that you'll get caught, that suspicions will be raised, and then you'll have a chance of being caught from it. So that is on a system whereby it goes like, when you cross certain thresholds, so we've got like, say, 1 suspicion now. When you go to 3, you'll get the suspicious modifier, as you would in a society. When you get to 5, you become highly suspicious. When you get up to like 8, I think you become branded an apostate. 9, you're like actively hunted down. And then 10, they round you up and they burn you. That doesn't mean that you get caught 10 times, though. That means that you could get caught any number of times, but it depends on the influence of your target. I thought that was kind of a fun little system to throw in there. So you got to pick your targets wisely. Like I said, people in your prison, random courtiers would not have such an impact. Current vampire powers feed on Hypnotize. Hypnotize is very similar to Possessing with a Demon in base game CK2. And then enthrall target to turn them into a mindless and questioning 7. Maybe I've got that backwards. I don't remember. That one might be get a favor from them, and that one might be turn them into a mindless servant, like hypnotizing them. I'm not sure. Either way, that might not seem like that much, and it might not seem that complicated, but there's a lot of variables going on in the background with the vampires especially. That certainly needs fixing. Where it says 0 and we've actually got 3. That certainly needs a little bit of a look at there. But there is, there's a lot of complexity, and like I said, a lot of the effort went into balancing. The system works. It's just, what do you get out of it? Well, you get a very powerful character. It's high risk, high reward. But inherently, there aren't any crazy vampire shit to do. That I was putting in the society. Like, you would need to learn it from someone and take that gamble. So with this is just pretty much all you get from your little vampires for now. But I thought that was still kind of alright. Again, there's a good amount of polish that's went into them. That's broken. And like I said, the society being gone is a bit of a kick in the teeth. But that's an alright start, I think. Let's dive into one of the other characters. Take a look. And again, I could show off the other stuff associated with that, but it's more or less very similar to the base game. Balancing was a big part of it, trying to make sure it wasn't super overpowered, because that was always my problem with mods like Mythos, whereby if you play Mythos and you weren't playing, or sorry, I should say, if you were playing Mythos and you were a mythological creature, you dominated and destroyed everybody. And that was inarguable, you know? This is meant to give you more options, not more power. Anyway, let's go for a new character then. Let's go for the werewolf. I don't think the werewolf does anything. I might be misremembering, but let's give it a go. What does he do? Little werewolf. Okay. He's got the werewolf trait. That's always good. His character is a werewolf. Personal combat skill plus 15. Do you do anything? Don't even make a society. Yeah, I didn't do anything with the werewolf at all as far as I recall. So he's a very boring boy indeed. Does completely fuck all. I think I started making a kind of transformation for them. Kind of generic werewolf picture in a kind of paradoxy style using some of the event pictures and whatnot. But never got around to finishing it. So the werewolf is definitely the most shallow. I couldn't really decide what to do with it in the end. So I guess we'll have a chat about that. And again, there's another reason why I want to make a video about this, so you guys can pitch in. Got any good suggestions for like other fantasy related shit? That'd be kind of fun. Skin changes were a mechanic I've had in CK2. Let me show you what I mean. Did I accidentally load in this werewolf again? How did that happen? The fuck? Did I not pick the skin changer? Okay, well, I'll give that one another go, I suppose. Skin changer. Start. Werewolf. What the fuck are you talking about, werewolf? Hang on. Where did I put him? I put him in France somewhere, from what I recall. Where the fuck did I put this skin changer? Let's go back. Where is he? Hey. Oh, the bookmark's broken. You moron. Well, the skin changer's out there somewhere. I guess we'll load in and see if we can track him down. I think they're all part of the same dynasty anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. The skin changers were really cool. Let's see. Did I make you a relative? Skin changer. There he is. Yeah, that's the bookmark being broken, not the character, luckily enough. So let's go ahead and brace yourself. This is going to be a spooky time. Play 69, 69, 69, 71. Should have guessed I'd use that as a as a character ID. So, our little skin changer guy. This character is a skin changer. So I found out that if you set a custom... yeah, sure, enable that. This is all just placeholder from what I remember. Yeah, it's all just placeholder stuff for the time being. So if you make yourself a culture and don't assign it any physical attributes, you end up with that charming looking thing. So I thought if you kind of... I saw that when I was messing around with just culture modding. And I was like, shit, this is so good, I've got to do something with it. As I recall, I did smooth it out, though, and, like, do something with it graphically. Let me take a look at the GFX folder here. Characters, shape and male. Yeah, so I did actually tidy it up a little bit. So normally your base CK2 character is kind of jaggedy. It's got kind of slots where the eyes should be and nose and shit. So I've basically taken the basic character shape there and smoothed it all out in Photoshop, so it's kind of hideous. So it's got a lot of, like, cheeks, types. There is still variety in the character. It's not all just, the same looking character. Because if you were a Skinchanger, they'd all look the same, right? So I'm trying to open it up in Photoshop, but I realize it's a DDS file now, so it's a bit pointless. Let me zoom it in, and let me pop it open on my other monitor here. Let's go display capture. There you go. So look, these are the kind of, this is what I'm talking about here. This is the base, but I actually did design variety amongst these characters too. So they would look a little bit different one to the other. You can only see that if you yourself are also a Skinchanger. Skinchangers recognize one another, but to other characters, you will look like their culture. So for example, a Skinchanger cooldown, right? Got it. So the whole point of this then was to be a kind of intrigue character, a diplomacy character, a shapeshifter, basically, right? This character's Skinchanger. We're on a cooldown there. Skinchanger appearance is neutral, general opinion -10, because we're a little bit hideous. I mean, there's something not quite right about us. Well, I mean, we don't, again, the kind of lore was we don't look like that always. You know, like Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It looks a little bit weird, and there's something wrong with him, but you can't place it. It's like a little bit too smooth in the wrong places. So the whole point of these guys is that they are mutable, literally, and that we can become whatever you want them to be. So I was going to make one for each culture, which will need a lot of submenus in hindsight. When does that expire? Well, fucking ages. I made it so you can only change it once a year. That's alright. I suppose we can blitz ahead a year and then test it out again. So, for example, if you're at war with a Norse character, or you want to marry a Norseman's daughter or whatever, you just change into a Norse dude. It's that simple. Or, in a year's time, if you want to get in good with a Latin character, yep, thank you. If you want to get in good with a Latin-based character, say the Pope's Latin or some shit like that, it will give you, and I should also point out the Skinchanger trait when you've got that, will give you an opinion with those people. So -10 with everybody else, but +10 with the Norse. And the suspicion with this guy will come from changing your face too often. People might notice that type of thing. There's some various shit with that. But it's all very kind of, again... Oh! We disappeared without a trace. Well, you lasted long. So it's all kind of various basic testing stuff right now. And again, you can transform yourself into a Latin-looking guy there. Apparently that's Latin. I'm not really sure. So those were the three kind of races. And then I got a little bit bored of designing kind of fancy races. Bear in mind, again, this was all done by myself. I decided to start working on some other little features to throw into the mod. Now, there's a lot to dive into here, and there's probably going to be a lot I forget. Let me just pop up the... let's go back first and foremost to the proper display capture. There you go. So let me take a quick look. I've got a folder in here called Broken Never Touch Off-Map Powers, and then I've got Artifacts Easter Eggs. So we can have a look through those. Oh, God, that event was so cool. I almost threw it into the Dungeon Master mod because it's such a cool event, but it was too fantasy, I felt. And it was a cultural reference, which I didn't really want in the Dungeon Master mod so much. So let me show you what I mean. Let's dive back in as, well, I don't know, Earl Vampire? Fuck knows. There you go. So let's come down here. Let's enable the Easter eggs. Let's see if the Gods on Earth scenario I actually did anything with. I don't believe I did, but we'll try it. I don't think I finished it, did I? Certainly doesn't look like it, huh? You got like, hey, you guys seen like, you guys seen Odin hanging around? Zeus? No? So sort by age, that might help narrow it down. Oh, yeah, I actually did start work on it. There you go, Odin Asgard. And then we got Ukko as well. Oh god, that's a little bit buggy, not sure what happened there. Okay, so I did do a couple. Chorus Progenitor. That guy, no, I don't know who the fuck Zeus is. He can piss off. That's Zeus. That's like actually straight up Zeus. That explains what I was doing there. Chorus was the guy. And that makes sense by his age as well. Progenitor, there you go. First generation vampire. Father is Justinian. Blood power is 10. This was the guy that was supposed to be the one who was like the founding vampire. Got it. Okay, it's all coming back to me a little bit now. Anyway, so let's explore some of the other features. So the artifacts then. Some are added by events. So I'll go ahead and pop in. My god, how many events did I write? So, first one we've got. And this I was kind of happy with, right? So, I was trying to figure out for the longest time how to make animated GIFs. Event pictures. Oh my god, was it the After the End Old World? It's not called that anymore, but it was at the time. They were also trying to figure it out. And I think I just beat them to it because I was talking to their devs about it. And they were like, guess what? We found a way to get animated GIFs. And I was like, oh yeah. And I sent them this video of this happening. It's very, very basic. Milk Snatcher rises. Long believed to perish in the Great Irish Uprisings, rumors have swirled about the legendary Milk Snatcher walking once more. The vengeful spirit will shortly curse, haunt, and destroy those she holds responsible for her untimely demise. Cult factions across the road have been to disband en masses to avoid incurring the wrath of this malevolent spectre. Arcan's run, it's the Milk Snatcher. We're getting Craven. That's just that one. That was purely just a test of the being able to make animated GIFs into event pictures. I don't know how I did it. It was like a DDS file that cycled through frames. And in Photoshop, you can obviously stack up layers of frames. And if you like open up a GIF in Photoshop, you might have seen that before. But save it as a DDS file, and then it will cycle through it, and you can set the frame timings in the event itself. It's not very well optimized, I won't lie to you. Just that one event is like a couple of megabytes because of that side effect, but it's kind of fun, I think. So then I've got another one, Easter Egg 2. I've never shown any of these off before, by the way. Easter Eggs 2. I accidentally put a space in there. The Desire. You are not the most discreet in your activities and indulgences. The usual courtrooms and gossips have trailed you for many years, and it's something you have grown accustomed to. These rumours have been spread beyond the castle walls to circles and cabals left forgotten. As today, you receive a visitor in your court. The man says very little, but presents you with a small puzzle cube. A gift for one such as yourself, he says. Thank you, my good man, or take your trinkets elsewhere. Again, the trait Craven. You feel relieved to have not taken the cube, or it adds the lament configuration to your treasury. You have a terrible feeling as you reach for the cube. Well, there it is then, huh? Oh, I also added new quality levels. It was a lot of just like polish in random areas, and I'm kind of hoping we can show a lot of it here. So I added artifacts up to like quality level 10 with the whole new frames for all of them as well. So the lament configuration, quality 7, monthly party -2. We have such sites to show you. I'm sure I'll reference that in a minute. Does that fire automatically with the next one? And that will happen. So according to the event, that will trigger every 15 years on average. If you are a hedonist, if you have the Aztec bloodthirsty trait, if you're baptized by Satan, if you are lustful, and at least either any of the following 3, greedy, gluttonous, impaler, seducer, seductress, mystic, envious, cynical, cannibal, lover's pox, kinslayer, familiar kinslayer, dynastic kinslayer, just a dickhead, basically. Just a horrible guy. So what happens after that? So, after that, within 15 years... But it's sped up significantly if you're a genius. It's 2 times faster. If you're quick, it's 1.5 times faster. If you're shrewd, it's 1.5 times faster. A scholar, again, 1.5. Mystic, 1.5. Diligent, 1.5. These all stack. So for a regular idiot character, it would take 15 years to solve the puzzle cube. But for a regular person, it could take far less. Oh, a good person, genius person with good intellect, can take far less time. I'll just trigger that manually. You've become increasingly curious towards the cube that was gifted to you some time ago. Your attention has become almost undivided in solving the puzzle, and tonight is no exception. With your determination reaching new heights, you rotate the puzzle pieces in a strange, contorted ways until an entirely unexpected click rattles from the device. Press in the final piece or burn it immediately. We burn it, and it's destroyed. We gain either craven, stressed, or paranoid. And we press in the final piece. And here they are. Angels to some. The cube springs to life, rotating an opening through its own power. A great burst of light fills the room and it goes dark, and then you hear footsteps. We have been summoned. A deep voice growls. I can't do the voice. I've been recording all day. I'll destroy it. Your eyes begin to adjust to the light, but you can only make out silhouettes of 3 people. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures. You feel something pierce your flesh, then it happens again and again countlessly. The hooks pull you until at long last you're torn limb from limb. Relief. We have... such sights to show you. There are the diddlers up there at the top, and then you die. I made that. You die. Wow. Did I add a death event? I think I was obviously going to there, but didn't in the end. And that's it. That event, if you're curious in the code, is called Diddlers Arrive. And that destroys the lament configuration as well. So for particularly dirty, dirty boys, that will happen. I guess we'll just carry on playing as Zeus for a while. So those are all the Easter egg events. A lot of Easter eggs I added, though, were... If we pop this open. Just artifacts. Things that I never got around to finishing. You know, like the Bait Avengers, shit like that. So, I wanted to add an event whereby the Infinity Stones, or I think I called them the Eternity Pebbles, would be spread across the world. And if you manage to collect them all, it'd be an instant win condition, right? So, what is it? Add artifact? Give artifact? I wonder if I actually bothered porting it all over properly. Crystal Heart, sorry. So those are your 6 containment Eternity Pebbles. No, I didn't. Oh, that's a shame. Did I really not copy the whole thing over? Bollocks. It's got GFX files. Did I maybe just not set it up properly? Hang on. GFX. Interface. Inventory. Artifacts. I did add them in. I just haven't finished it. Like I can see them. on my PC. I just never added them in game. Oh, that's such a shame. Never mind. All right, that's fair enough. Okay, so that's something that needs a little bit of fixing there. Not that it really matters. Again, it's pop culture references, which is why I didn't add them to Dungeon Master. I just rolled them into this because I thought it was a little bit too pop culture-y. And then you've got the Eternity Pebbles themselves, so we can add Artifact Space Pebble. So those are just the containments. You can smash those open to gain the individual pebbles. What do you need to equip that? But you can't harness them if they're just a pebble. But you see, they're very, very powerful. Intentionally so. And then the final one was the Eternity Armor. I wonder if I finished that one. Eternity Armor. Spelt the correct way. There it is. Okay. What do we need to equip that? I remember you had to be Thernos. Thernos was the bad guy, of course. He had the Thanos culture, the Black Order, or the Dark Order, whatever it's called, religion. But we can't equip that because we don't have that particular trait. Yeah, there you go. Colossus trait. Religion is Dark Order, or culture is Colossus. And then I added one more as well, and that was the General Shield. So all of this might look broken. I remember it was General English. It's got the Queen's head in the middle of the shield. It's all coming back to me now. So all of this might look broken, but actually all it needs is the localization fixing, which won't take 30 seconds, and then these connecting up, which I apparently all have the DDS files in the folder, so that won't take much to fix at all. Okay, that's good news. This is an education event for me as well. What else have we got in the GFX folder? So we got the Shaper, we got the event pictures for Diddlers, and then some of the vampire stuff, the animated picture, yeah, got it. Interface. Employment. Forts. Oh, the forts, of course. The forts were one of my favorite features and could have been a complete standalone mod. The only reason I didn't make it a standalone mod is because somebody else did one and released it like a couple of days after I had started work on this. And I was like, well, shit, I can't release it now, otherwise it looks as if I've just ripped them off. So it just sat on a GitHub doing basically nothing, unfortunately. Yeah, that does work. Oh, man, these were actually not bad. Okay, let's build a fort then, shall we? Oh, sorry, not a fort. They were called lodges, I think I called them in the end. There you go. So, by editing the, By editing the lure file, you can make it so that forts don't ever disappear. So I wanted to treat them as an entirely separate slot, a lodge, whereby you could build things and upgrade it, but not with the traditional building upgrades, but in fact through the decisions menu. Mage Society Power 1 or 2. Oh, right, okay. Don't worry about that. It's not relevant. So let's give ourselves some cash then. And have a bit of an explore. Whoops. There. So let's make a capital lodge. Let's give ourselves add stewardship 99. Whoops. Oh, hang on. You have to add it to your character too, don't you? You can see I haven't played CK2 in a long time. Let's go add stewardship to 696969. That's Zeus. Brilliant. Let's go add 99 to that. There you go. Should take a little less time off the build time then. And then if we also do that with you, little Albert, go and oversee. Let's give him a bit more stewardship as well. I want to. So I'm trying to peek behind the bloody console there. 697000818. And then let's throw you in there. That should build that instantly now. There you go. Right, so that should add some decisions. And I think I polished this one pretty well. There you go. Open lodge upgrades. So let's turn off char info again. Crack that open. Yeah, I added a lot to this, huh? Completely forgot about it. I wonder why. Why did I add it through this? I really don't remember. Was it because... I think it was something to do with the fort system that meant I had to add it through the entry menu. I don't remember. It's also just kind of fun to have those upgrades available here. So if you're a theologian, a strategist, a socializer, blah, 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 you can add these various buildings. Again, this is all localized and fixed. This is basically finished, right? So you can construct an institution. Why? Because we are a scholar and we have over 15 learning. So let's build that then. Does that add it instantly? How does that work? It adds it to your upgrading lodge. Oh, there you go. I added it through modifiers. Weird. I wonder why I did that. Let's try and figure it out. Oh, we're now the leader of the Mages Guild. Brilliant. Okay. Never mind. Doesn't really matter too much, huh? They're all fucking broken. I hope I can fix those societies because I put so much work in the Human Man Society in particular. I'm really hoping I can get that one back. So one thing we did do, which you may have noticed, I don't know why I can't see it right now, why we can't employ anybody. We'll load back in as a separate character in a minute. There you go. The long way to upgrade to your lodge is complete. You can now begin a new project. Upgrading lodge will be removed from us. A little bit of broken localization there, but not a big deal. So what does that do? Adds it to our character modifier? I have no fucking clue. Either way, it is supposed to... Oh, fuck it. Let's open the code. I got it next to me. Decisions. Lodge decisions. Open lodge menu. Buy upgrades. What does it do? Character Bench Lodge Upgrade 1. Yeah, alright. As a lodge building in progress. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Get past that. So it adds... It fires an event which... adds a capital holding modifier. Oh! Does it really? Does it fuck? Hey? Add holding modifier, vampire thralls. Oh, so vampires have their own lodge upgrades. Oh, that's quite clever. Okay, I can get behind that. Maybe that's why I did it. Why would you not just do it with the buildings tab? Must be something broken. Either way. Add holding modifier game room. Hidden yes. Oh. Why would I make it hidden yes? I'm not sure. What did we just build then? Fuck knows, don't remember. Either way, it does add a modifier, but for whatever reason I made it hidden. God knows what possessed me to do that one. Huh. Guess I lost my mind or something. Oh well. That one wasn't bad. I remember spending quite a while on that one. And I did, again, polishing all the wrong fucking places, right? Let's say we wanted to play down in, Ghana? Let's play in Ghana. I love Ghana. Let's get char info, and let's load in as 184015. And then this guy down here, when we build a lodge here, has separate graphics. All putting the effort in wrong places, huh? Let's see what happens if we build it here. Oh, you know what? This actually might allow us to show me a different... No, we don't have the bloody menu here either. Just give me the fucking menu where I can employ someone, for Christ's sake. I don't know why none of these characters have the ability to do that. 163102. Hello there. There you go. So we shuffle the employment menu. I shuffle the employment menu into a side menu to try and tidy up intrigue. Because the problem with adding so many new people, decisions, societies, etc., etc., is it gets very cluttered. So we threw the employment menu behind a separate screen there that allows you to open things up. I think I also divided things up a little bit too. Promote command, invite holy man, invite noble, present debutant, deploy tutor. Yeah. Was that something I added? I think that's base game. It's broken, so it's probably something I added. And this is the problem with having copied over half a mod, right, and merged it with another mod, but never mind. But there's so much potential in some of these ideas and these mechanics. It's such a shame to just leave it. I'm really hoping I can gather some of the shit back too. Get some of that stuff back together, especially the... I'm looking for the traits now quickly. Get back especially the society, because that would be fantastic. Really want to work out what happened with the off-map power. But really the point of everything... Oh my god, there were so many traits I had. What the fuck? Holy crap. There's so much that I can't show because it's just unfinished. It was never implemented into game, so even though it's in the files, I can't actually show it off. But what we'll do is... If this has interested you, this 46 minutes of me trying to remember this own bloody mod, trying to go through... I'm sure I missed a shitload of stuff because it's gigantic. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Trying to tidy things up and you know, just kind of generally exploring. If any of it is interested to you, let me know what ideas good to roll with. Let me know what ideas are doggy poo-poo, and we can throw that in the bin. A lot of it, I think all of it in some way or another is redeemable, for sure. I think it's just I got bored of doing one thing and moved on to the next thing, got bored of that, moved on to the next thing. So we've got a lot of, in the case of the vampires, finished but don't really do much, aren't necessarily fun. The lodges are finished but need fixing certain, aren't the most intuitive with like the decisions menu and the hidden modifiers. Don't know what led me to do that, but I'm sure I have a good reason for it. There's a lot of balancing issues to be done with it as well. And there's a lot of work fixing the off-map powers, and especially the societies, which I'm a little bit devastated by, because that one society, like I said, was my favorite one out of all of them. And that is fucking gone. So I'll see if I can dig that out. But if there is anything that's interested you, feel free to let me know. If there is anything that interests you, I could turn it into a series, like a modding series. I wouldn't do it like every day. I probably wouldn't even do it every week, but like once a month, showing like progress updates and shit like that could be a lot of fun. Either way, let me know, and we'll see what we can do with it. It's just occurred to me, I put my dinner in the oven 40 minutes ago. I wasn't expecting this to go on so long. That's probably burnt to a fucking cinder at this point. Merry Christmas, everybody. See you all tomorrow for more CK2. Not this, though, obviously.